Guess who's back? Back again.
Daniel Ricciardo.
Back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back?
Daniel Ricciardo.
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 Let's go, man! I got you.
It's backseat drivers time. Good evening and welcome to Backseat Drivers number 35 for 2023. Dan's back and to celebrate, I'm in full Red Bull gear because that's where he'll be driving in 2024. To talk about that and many other topics, we've got Cowboy Matt.
Who would have thought that my opening thing would be reused again and again? Yeah. And like you said, at the start of 2024, I'll have to update it with a picture of Sergio is no longer my best friend. Dan is my best friend now, and have a big cross across Sergio's face. Also, Rob's not here to defend anything.
Yeah, that's it. I'm a little bit disappointed in the amount of notes he's left us. But thankfully, we some people who are in other states can take the time to bother and join us. We've got a Buvy who couldn't hack it on the mainland and gone to Tasmania.
G'day, guys.
He's been checkoed and been replaced by someone else. We're going to update all the backseat drivers promotional stuff to no longer have him in the photos. but don't tell him. But later on, it's just going to be someone else in the photo.
So it's looking increasingly like Checo will be out next year.
Yep.
Well, I think now, Dave, and again from watching this year, you can sort of tell when Red Bull are kicking someone out because they basically ignore them like they don't exist. And then the next week they're like, "Where's Nick?" And they're like, "Who is Nick?" Dan's always been our driver. Yeah. Nick was just keeping his seat warm.
Do you think supposedly they've given him the ultimatum he has to finish second in the championship?
Oh, he's gone.
I reckon he's gone.
That's a make-believe stretch goal, Dave. It's like when someone, in certain contracts, they're like, "Oh, if you score 30 goals this season, we'll give you $20 million. I'm the goalkeeper. Look, the offer still stands. It's not my fault you can't score any goals."
But at the moment, there is a good chance that he still will be second at the end of the year.
Yeah,
I think, what is he, about 30 points ahead of?
He's about 30 points in front, but then I think Helmut will come through and go, "Did I say second? I meant first." He will, I reckon they'll let him race at Mexico. Max won't let him win. There'll be, I think Sergio will not let Sergio in. He'll end up with you know what would be the greatest thing ever, Dave? If he just plowed it in, I don't know if there is, but into a sand trap in front of the stadium, and the final photo of him in F1 is him just doing that Lewis Hamilton thing where he's just walking across the road, the crowd behind him, a Mexican flag waving, and maybe one of those big Dan faces just hovering behind him, just as some, shadowing.
I don't see it happening in Mexico, though.
I can see him crashing in Mexico.
Oh, that's a different story.
Yeah. And also, he's only appeared in, again, I'm going by how Red Bull work. Red Bull are a media company first, a racing company second. And in all their videos, Dan appeared in probably 37 where you could be confused into thinking that Dan Ricciardo is the only one that drives for Red Bull and AlphaTauri because he didn't even appear in AlphaTauri gear. He appeared in a Red Bull car. I mean, that's not even subtle. It's just like we all know who Max is. He's won. He's either checked out or he's just going to be like, "No, I need to win 15 races this season because I just hate everybody and I want to completely dominate."
And he wants to break records.
Yuki hasn't even got a mention. In fact, all we know, Yuki's been replaced by Lawson, and they're like, "What do you mean? We never showed him. He doesn't get to race." In fact, they may only show up with one car in just an act of, You know, we don't even need to win this anymore. We don't care. How long till they've wrapped up the constructors? Actually,
They wrapped it up.
Yeah, I think they wrapped that up.
They wrapped up the constructors first before they wrapped up the before Max wrapped up the championship.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they still had. Oh well, then,
No.
Yeah.
then they won't even care. Come
No, the rest
Vegas,
is the only
come
thing is
Vegas,
now
they're
is
gonna have neon lights under it, and they're going to flash, and it's going to.
it's all
you know,
shits and giggles now for records and that sort of stuff now for
I
Red Bull.
genuinely can't wait for Vegas because everything about it. There's like either they've wrapped up no one, Max Red Bull don't need to race there. They're probably going to let Dan race in a Red Bull. Just be like, we're testing something out, Checo. You've got this car. You didn't run up to the Red Bull, the RB19 quick enough and yell shotgun, so you get the.
Why does the AlphaTauri have an 11 on it this weekend? Well,
See, look, here's what happened. We've only got yellow 3 stickers, and they look really good on the Red Bull. And look, just give it a go. See how it works.
Yeah.
And
if you don't like it, Liam will replace you.
Also, let's be honest, this car's not getting out of Q3 either. So why are we wasting our time?
The funny thing is that Liam has been able to get out of Q3 in the car.
Yes.
So,
look, we'll only fill it with a quarter tank of petrol because we don't think you're going to need it all anyway. So let's save some money.
You'll crash into something before quarter race. So,
Yep.
Hopefully that can get us below the salary cap if we don't have to use as much petrol for you.
Well, it is because their entry fees are based off how many championship points the team has.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the strategy to bring the point score down to lessen the cost to enter next year's championship.
So if you have 0 points,
I think there's a base.
There's a base.
And then X amount for each point. I think something like that.
So you know what? Dan not getting any points this season could be a very clever move because you've got Max here who's going to have to pay $87 trillion to get in because he's going to want 57,000 points. If Dan gets no points, he just has to pay this year's points, right? And the ones he got, not the AlphaTauri ones, right?
That's for super license, Matt. You're getting that mixed up.
Super license you do pay on how much you score as well.
He's not going to be paying as much as, say, anyone else, except Logan and maybe.
Yeah,
and
Dan,
DeVries.
at the moment, Dan's would just be the base amount. Yeah. Although I don't think DeVries will be paying for a super license next year.
They're going to send him a letter and go, do you wish to renew this? He's like, no,
I don't think Logan will have to pay for one either.
Look, Dave, and if the way things going, Lance will
Checo.
be like, Dad, I just got my super license renewal letter. He's like, oh, you don't need to worry about that. Why not, Dad? I'll look at it, but
You'll be fine.
See this sports car program that we've just kicked off.
Yep, you're going to lead that.
Have I got a deal for you?
But Dad, Alonso said his one was paid for like 2 months ago. But why is his paid quicker? Oh, look, it's how checks work. They take a while. Your one's just taking a bit longer.
Yours is in the mail.
But good news, Logan Sargent's driving it to the post office, so it should get there soon.
Could be worse. It could be Latifi doing it.
Oh.
He has to have that awkward conversation with his son now, right? Like that's.
Of course he does.
I think
you got to remember and also you got to remember it's not just his team either.
Yeah.
Well, in his mind, it's his team because he is the one that has brought Saviour to Britain, and he's on the
he should be knighted.
The New Year's Day honours. He will be knighted by old Charles.
King Charles.
What I heard though, apparently at Aston Martin, depending where they finish in the championship, there is like really good bonuses and it jumps significantly.
For the whole team?
Yeah, so everyone in the team. So realistically, if they had two Alonsos in the team, they'd be, I'm not sure exactly where the points are, but they might be, say, two positions higher in the Constructors' Championship. And there's a lot of the rank and file guys that are, on your normal kind of salary, that could be, a couple of months worth of wages in the bonus that they would then get if they were, say, where there's two Alonsos, but because there's a Stroll in there, they're not and they're getting really frustrated with it. And that's where a lot of that frustration is.
If you're getting paid, we'll say what, 100K as an F1 engineer, right?
Yeah.
And you see Alonso, and from what I've heard, he's a quality top bloke, rookie, loves everyone, chats to everyone. And then he's getting you points, and you're looking at that Constructors' Championship, and you've gone home to your wife and kids and go, kids, we're gonna go to Disneyland this year because Rookie of the Year, he's gonna get us a bonus. We're gonna get 10 or 20 grand bonus, and we're gonna go for a super holiday, and I'm gonna buy a villa in Spain. And then you look at your idiot teammate who just each week throws the steering wheel, kicks the trainer, who's probably your mate that you have lunch, Nando's with at lunchtime, and you're like. And then you come home, Dad, are we still going to Disneyland? No, because the idiot's boss, his son, couldn't finish a race and get us at least 2 points. So now we're not going to Disneyland, we're going to a caravan park.
I'm just looking up the points at the moment.
How different is it?
Well, yeah, so Alonso's on 183.
Okay,
Lance is on 47.
And he hasn't scored any points since the summer break.
Oh. Hey, Dave, if let's say you had another Alonso who scored you 120, that would take you to what? How many? 200 and...
Well, if you...
be on 300 plus points.
Yeah.
Yeah, so realistically, if you had... You don't need an Alonso, but...
Yeah, someone almost as good.
In that realm, even your 120 odd points, that would put them bang on with Ferrari at the moment in third in the championship.
Third, fourth?
Third. Yeah, Ferrari's third. Mercedes is second. They'd be within kind of hunting distance of Mercedes, and they'd be right with Ferrari.
So they'd be on a podium, and they'd probably be very, very confident.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently it must be the jump from, say, like a fourth in the championship to a top three in the championship is worth it. Like a big, it might be like, say, you get a 2% bonus or something for fourth in the championship, and you get a 10% bonus if you finish in the top three or something. Apparently, it's a big jump, and that's the everyday mechanics and that are starting to get really frustrated. Because you've got Alonso comfortably being in Q3 and Lance being out in Q1.
Do you reckon Papa Stroll will be one of those ones? Well, if my son doesn't drive, I leave.
Nah.
I think it's hard for him to back out of the championship, but I can see him stepping back from he won't be at every race.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. It will be more like a normal business for him after that.
So do you reckon it's
somebody else
that he's not, that he's not that guy that turns up every week and goes, oh, what's going on here? Has my son got the good car? I need him to have the go fast button. What are you talking about? The one that makes him drive as fast as Alonso. And then someone has to explain that that's just skill. And he's like, no, it's not. Did I tell you my son could be 2-time world champion? Every week you tell us this, and we never see anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, Alonso, here's your 30 grand to be good to my son this race. Remember, point out when he does a good turn. That's all he's going to do.
Yeah.
Don't mention Q3. We don't talk about that. That's not all we talk about. We just talk about the effort.
Yep.
See, just looking at the points, Lance is only 1 point ahead of Gasly and 3 points ahead of Ocon. Just to put that into... Yeah, he's in the battle with the Alpines.
So Alpine just need to have a good weekend.
While Alonso is in the battle with Hamilton for best of the rest.
Yeah. So there's actually it's only 11 points.
Yeah.
It's 9
How,
points.
how many points
Sorry,
does
11
Alonso to man that's about to lose his seat next year?
Checo.
Yeah.
Check out.
Um,
He's
40. 41.
45.
That's not a big gap for what? Five races left.
No,
Something like that,
I
yeah.
suppose the issue is, though, that the Aston has relatively gone backwards.
Yeah. Like
So,
it didn't done
yeah.
well at the start of the season. Like they put all their
Yeah.
upgrades. They did all their stuff at the start of the season. Now they got no money to do anything else for the rest of the season.
Yeah. But you've
Maybe
got,
next
like,
year.
yeah, say he'd have to outscore Checo by average of, say, 10 points
Yep.
each race.
Well, the thing is, though,
remaining.
Dave, if people start, if Hamilton starts, doing well, McLaren starts getting more podiums. The more
Yep.
podiums they put in, and the more Checo gets like P9, P10, or not even a point,
Yep.
it creates, and then Lewis keeps getting points. It will
Yep.
make it smaller and smaller, and then there'll be
Yeah.
a bunch of them that have just bunched up at the end, and then you'll have like the Vegas race where the difference could only be a plate, 10 points or whatever.
So you've got to, like, the last race, Mercedes, like Hamilton and Russell, they could have realistically finished second and third
Oh
in
yeah.
that race if they hadn't tried to take, or they hadn't taken each other out in the first corner.
Yep.
So that's where you do pull, like, I can't see Alonso pulling a big chunk of points, but
No.
you can
Yep.
see Hamilton getting a second while Checo doesn't score.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden that gap's down to essentially nothing.
Yeah. And then you come down to Vegas that's the second last race.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And then you're pretty much at this point, I think everyone will have realized Checo has lost his job.
Oh yeah.
And there'll be big signs up for Dan, because any F1 race in America is essentially Dan's race, because no one even knows that Logan's American. They seem to forget that, or try to forget that.
Well, he doesn't have the profile in America.
Logan.
Yeah.
Not even
Okay.
at his home race though. People were, when they had
Well, in Miami.
Yeah, when they were like, "Oh, look, it's Miami's favorite guy," and everyone's like, "No, don't even know who this
No.
man is."
Who's this guy?
Where's Daniel Ricciardo? Can he turn up on a horse again? I know he only does it in Dallas, but can he do it?
Well, you'll do it this year for sure. Again.
Well, it's what people expect from him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But he's also willing to do that ridiculous kind of, media
But
stuff
he loves
too.
it.
Yeah.
But he loves that sort of stuff.
But I think he's also setting himself up for later on, where
Yep.
you will probably get Lewis being a commentator, but he will be I can tell you now, he's going to be a very boring commentator. He'll come in for
Lewis.
I don't think we'll see Lewis doing stuff like that.
No.
You
No,
reckon?
Lewis is Lewis is basically, once he's done with the sport, he might sponsor an academy person. That's it. He'll be out of it. He'll start focusing on
I
all
got
his
the impression he was the kind of guy that would be like special comments, and he constantly.
No. That's when you want Daniel. That's when you want Daniel on special comments.
Daniel will do it, and he'll be fun, because they did it to him at one of the other. I think it was Silverstone, but it looks like Lewis will be like that real serious, boring.
No.
And he'll
That'll be George.
That'll be George.
George.
No.
I
George is
can
trying to be
see
funny.
George wanting to do it and being terrible. I can see Hamilton essentially disappearing from that side of things.
Oh,
Yeah,
you reckon
exactly.
he's
So
not
once he's
even-
once he's finished with their fine, that's it.
Yeah.
Like
He'll
he
go
won't
and
even go
do
into
his catwalk stuff and
catwalk and
maybe
veganism and that
that's
sort
the
of thing.
point. He's got to do modelling shows in Milan, not race car driving weekends.
Yep.
Yeah.
He'll turn up to Monaco though, because they need to interview
Him with his favorite, with his YouTuber buddy.
Who's his YouTuber buddy?
Nico.
Dave got it. Nico,
Oh,
Yeah. The guy, Equal Machinery.
equal machinery guy.
I thought he was just known as the curse of the F1 track.
There's that too, but I don't think the curse worked
Before
last
that,
time.
he was a YouTube star.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said Monica's
Actually-
favorite YouTube.
Yeah, actually, I
Monica's
saw
favorite
one
F1
video of
YouTuber.
him, because he's got the that Mercedes that he's parked in the garage, the Gullwing Mercedes that he drove around.
Yeah.
On the SLS.
I think so, and he spends like 20 minutes just getting into it and like explaining it, and he's like, "Oh, this car's very good, and it's locked away," and then I think he drives around for a bit, and he's like, "Well, that's done. That's my video," and I've never watched any of his other videos.
There we go.
I still reckon. I reckon George
Ricardo
will try
for
to
sure.
be funny, and
Nah.
he'll be really bad at it because he doesn't really have. I would like to see Bottas, but he would be a man.
Bottas will just do his own. He'll be similar to the Hamilton. Once he's finished racing, he'll probably end up doing some rallying. He'll do some. He might do some other motorsports, but I don't see him coming back into F1 again after that. But he'll definitely do his bike riding.
I'm just looking through the list. I'd love to see Albon.
Oh, Albon would be awesome.
Yeah.
You've got personality. You need somebody with personality.
Yeah. I think it'd be really. I think Russell will try and
Fail
be
miserably.
terrible. Yeah.
I want
Piastri's
Piastri's starting to show a bit of personality.
Yeah.
Oscar, because I think at the start he was just okay. I've been thrust into this, but now when you actually, because I still follow the McLaren F1 Instagram. Watching that now, he actually is starting to lighten up. He's making jokes.
Yeah.
He's doing a lot more that sort of thing. So he maybe, who knows, maybe in a couple of years' time, we might get another Dan again.
Who else?
But we'll see what happens.
I was just trying to think who's at the because the rest of the ones at the bottom are just like the forgotten ones.
The only one maybe the problem. Okay, maybe Leclerc, possibly.
Oh yeah, one of the Ferrari guys, but they'd also just be very. I find like
I think they'll be very straight to the point, everything, that sort of stuff. You do need one or two of those, but you do need a couple of those guys to explain it. Although technically now the way I prefer thing. How before we had before they got rid of who did they get rid of? Anyway, as long as Nico's not there and Karun's there, I would love him to explain everything, because the way he explains it, he does bring in a little bit of he's got a personality, but also when he needs to be serious, he'll be serious. But then when he wants to joke around, he'll joke around.
Well, I think
Vettel's doing his save the world thing with the bees.
Well, that's right.
Yeah,
because Max just asked
out of
Vettel.
the current, I reckon Albon, because he's got that where he's been successful and he understands what you need to be successful. He has a bit of personality. He can, explain things when he needs to, take it seriously and that. A bit Johnny Herbert kind of.
Yes.
Ish. Yeah, where they're not the ultimate best driver, but they've got that.
He knows.
Kind of,
he's got at least a personality to say, okay, this is what the drivers need to do. But then on the other hand, I would you'd put a counterclaim to something, and then how they have the banter between the hosts, he'd be able to get into that no problems as well.
Whereas you had say Ant Davison, he's very good at explaining stuff and that, but he's a bit
he's a bit dry. Yeah. He's a bit dry.
Ultimate driver. I think everyone's forgotten the ultimate driver, Zhu. No one knows that he's there, so he could literally step out of a race anyway and commentate. It's not like we ever see him. The cameras only work. They show Max for the first 10 laps. Then they're like, well, he's at the front. That's boring. Let's go to the midfield. And if you're at the back, like he is, he's forgotten. He could just make a pit stop, do a quick commentary, get back in the car, not lose any position. Because, what's his name? Has crashed it. The Americans crashed it into the wall anyway. He's not losing any places.
He could do it like those people in the marathons where they kind of disappear, jump in a cab, and then come out for the last bit. Joe could just hide somewhere around the corner. Yeah, I've been lapping the whole day. Didn't see me.
Great. Because he drives so slow, you could just get Martin to sit on the car and just microphone in. Or just drive next to him and go, how's it going? In some of them, they walk past him and how's it going? You can just sit there. Or they could just do radio chats.
Yeah.
Like in other sports, Booby and I watch the ball and stick. They are mic'd up on the field.
Yep.
And they
they
can
do
be like-
that in like supercars and NASCAR and that.
yeah, they can just be like, "How's it going, Dave? Oh, not bad. How's the car feeling? Oh, look, she's a bit light to the left, but we'll have a look at it. Probably do a pit stop in a couple more
I'm
laps."
surprised that they don't actually like during safety cars and that they don't actually have a quick chat to one of the drivers of that during the time.
They have been doing it in IndyCar. I don't think.
I'm saying for
but
F1.
they do, like IndyCar will do it like just before the start of the race. I
Yep.
don't think they've been doing it during safety cars and that.
Okay.
Yeah, whereas supercars they're probably more limited. They do it more straight after the race or like the top 10 shootout at Bathurst.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking to the drivers straight after. But it's one of those things, F1, I can't see them quite doing it during a race. Yeah. They're a bit precious at times.
I would love to speak to George, like when George got taken out by Lewis. I would love being able to cut over to George and Lewis
while they're in the car.
While they're in the car. Because you know that Lewis would have just buried himself further into the ground. Because basically the first thing he said was like, "Oh, someone clipped me." And like, no, Lewis, we all saw it. Let's. And then George would have done his crikey, just to hear the conversation. I mean, you might get it in Drive to Survive, but I can't wait to see that awkward conversation, especially when they made Lewis like, I don't know if you saw the video where he comes up to George at the end and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I hit your car." And he's like, "Okay, I'm sorry."
Actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
44
I'm so
bless.
glad I haven't watched any of the Drive to Survives yet.
Toto made me do it, Not fair. Also,
again, like I said,
Toto, that would have been fantastic.
No, he wasn't at the race this week. That week.
But like just have him at home. He's eating a pumpkin nickel sandwich, and he's like, "I'm just going to have a relaxing night." Lewis is probably going to finish in the podium.
We're second and third on the grid. This is going to be a good race.
What's his wife's name again? Susie.
Susie.
Let's grab a German beer.
Take the phone off the hook.
Yep.
This is going to be 2 hours of pleasure.
I won't be needing my phone. You know what? I won't even go on the internet. It's just going to be me. Sky Sports. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
The kids are asleep. There'll be no questions from them until tomorrow morning. "Daddy, why is Uncle George so upset?" He keeps muttering, "I could have finished second."
Fair enough.
I do look forward to the last couple of races now. Not for Max. I think we can all agree Max just needs to step aside. Give Max the 25 points, but he doesn't need to race because he's just clogging up the ground. He's clogging up airtime, or he can do the whole race, but you can talk to him and people can send in live questions and he has to answer them while you're driving around. Like if someone had a question like, what are your thoughts on your favorite track, or
what's the square root of 76?
Yeah, he needs to at least look into them and go, "Oh, I can,
Yeah.
What drink have you got in your little, sack? Did you drink some when you're in Qatar?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Logan, chucking? Is he?
Yeah.
Do you hope to have new guests on your podcast next year, maybe?
Yeah. Who would you like to have on your podcast that you haven't had previously?
Do you ever think we'll have an American or Canadian on your podcast anytime soon? Or
prospects are not looking good.
Do you
definitely
think
not.
That what's his name? Nando will have another Australian beat him, and he'll just have to casually look on from his. Did you see his response when George and Lewis crashed into each other?
Which one? Oscars.
Yeah. When he just
and he laughed.
Yeah.
And you know what? Most other teams, like at the end of the race, they would have been like, "Dave, that was not very nice." Zach would have been, mate, here's an extra 10 grand. That was absolute gold. I play that every day when I'm feeling bad. I just put that on. Because I didn't realize they play most of the highlights on the TV. I thought
they started doing that.
I thought it
was a fairly recent.
Yeah.
No, but I think they've been doing that for a while.
Yeah, I thought it was the rate.
Yeah, but in the grand scheme of things, it's probably only been, I don't know, 18 months, 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I always thought it was just like whatever feed Sky Sports had or whatever, and they just show, like they show a feed. I didn't realize they were showing highlights of the race.
Yeah.
And then you can have the hilarious conversations. We're like, oh, was that Hamilton and thing? And then Oscar just laughing at it. I mean, it does kind of show his maturity though, because let's be honest. A more mature driver would have been like, oh, no. Whereas all of us would have been like, ah, suck shit.
Yeah. I was going to say, let's be honest. Say if it was Fernando seeing it, inside he would have been laughing. But to the world, he would have been like, oh, that's a shame.
Oh, no.
And then probably winked at the camera or something.
Yeah, he would have had that meme face or whatever, and everyone would have been like, when you see your enemy at work getting reprimanded, and just having like, oh no.
Yes.
Also, he would have been happy because he would have been on the podcast, and he hasn't been on the podcast for a while.
Yeah, it's
for sure.
The funny thing was, apparently, I think it was Canada the last time he was on the podium. And before that race, he said, oh, I'm going to be on the podium every race for the rest of the year. And then that was the last time.
Oh, wow.
Big call.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if he just said, I'm going to be on the podium more times than my,
teammate.
My teammate.
Yeah. But
So,
that's,
Because if that's the case, then that means there's going to be 3 seats available next year. 2, 3.
3, yeah.
The Americans gone, the Canadians gone, and the Mexicans gone. Basically, CONCACAF is
the whole of America is out.
basically the whatever the CONCACAF, the Confederation of Nations, North America and Dave, you've been fact checked.
Maybe it was in Zandvoort that he said
it. No, it's all good. I was just reading up on this. I was just reading up on this Audi thing that was happening.
The Audi thing?
Yeah, what is that? I heard something about it, but I never saw any articles.
There's a few articles here saying that Porsche might be taking over the Audi entry because apparently from the notes that Rob put in there that the head of motorsport at Audi has been fired or whatever and they don't want to go ahead with this anymore. So looks like it's a case of Porsche might just say, okay, fine, we'll take over it. But of course, this is all just rumors. Nothing's been verified. Planet F1 saying that the Judge 13, whatever that pod.
But they can be. That can be.
That's what I'm saying. So the main ones I'm looking at is if it's more got to do with either F1 or like for this one, there's apparently from a French F1 website that was saying that the VW group was going to still continue, but not with Audi, and they might just switch over to Porsche. That's what they've written.
Well, it's basically a label change. It's still going to be owned by a massive.
Yeah,
it's still going to be owned by VW. Group. It's just going to be it's still going to be Volkswagen Group, but instead of being Audi, it'll be Porsche, and that's it. So technically, it'll still be the same engines, that sort of stuff. Everything, so it's not going to make that much of a difference. They're just all they're going to do is just all right. Let's rub off the Audi badge and let's put a Porsche badge on there. That's it. Game over.
I mean,
so it doesn't
Porsche
really matter.
Ferrari could be marketed a lot better than Audi. I think Porsche probably have a bigger name, right?
Porsche did because they used to be in F1 too.
No, but I meant if you told a Drive to Survive fan,
Audi versus Ferrari.
No, Audi versus Porsche, they'd be like, well, Porsche sounds cooler. You
I know Porsche sounds
yeah.
cleaner, but technically Audi's got more of a heritage in F1 than what Porsche
Bobby,
does.
Drive to Survive people do not know.
That's the problem. They don't know the history. Yeah, yes, I know. Yeah,
I'll tell
that's
you
why I
what,
refuse to watch it.
Bobby, they know that only 2 people have ever won the world championships. One's called Lewis
Which
and
is-
one's called Max. And they're like, who won it before that? I'm like, I don't even think F1 ran before that, right? Then when did Alonso win his? Oh, he was doing a different competition. It was called like Formula Black
It's
and
funny
White.
driving through Tassie. Actually, there's a place called Lewisham.
That's the
name of
worst
the town.
place in the world.
I know it is. That's why I didn't even bother going into it.
Is it pretentious and it just has solar panels everywhere and they judge you for
I
driving?
don't know. I didn't even turn off the main highway to actually go have a look.
Oh, you should have got us a a magnet or a pen there. Just
Anyway, don't worry. You guys are getting magnets.
oh,
Hooray!
Yep. The typical anybody goes on a trip, we get a magnet. You get a magnet.
yeah. But like I said, I don't think anyone knows who won.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Some of them, it would have been it was Schumacher, then Lewis, and then Max, and there was nothing in between ever.
No, there was Vettel.
No, there was nothing.
There was a 4 years of Vettel one.
No, I guarantee you, Bobby, you asked a Drive to Survive thing.
Oh yeah, they won't. No, of course not. Yeah, I'm saying
It goes like this, Bobby. It was Senna, nothing. F1 was then Ferrari.
Yep.
And then Lewis came along and won 10 championships in a row, but they only counted 7 because, massive, whatever. And then Max turned up and he won everything. That is the history of F1 in the last 30 years.
I'm just trying to think because Drive to Survive doesn't cover any historical
No,
stuff, does
it doesn't. They only
It's just
cover the current.
the current.
It's purely the
year,
current
isn't it?
season. That's it. Yeah.
Last 5 seasons.
Yeah, so it's not even like, say, the Drive to Survive thing that they did for supercars for a couple of years. They would show like clips when they did like the Triple Eight one or whatever. They showed clips of when Triple Eight first came in, and then like the Walkinshaw one, they showed them as like HRT winning their first Bathurst and all that kind of. Whereas, Drive to Survive.
I think they might have there might have been some archival footage of Ferrari when they spoke to not in season. It might have been season 4.
I was going to say it wouldn't have been season 1 because Ferrari.
No, definitely not.
No, but I think it wasn't much though. Like I don't think if you didn't bother to look it up, you wouldn't have known. But I think they showed like a little bit of footage. It would just be like, oh, here comes Schumacher crossing a line. Anyway, here's Dan Ricciardo dressed up as a mechanic talking about funny shit.
I wonder sometimes.
Drive to Survive season 6. It'll just be in the first half of the season. Not much happened. Then Dan came back and we were saved, and I got to keep my job.
And Lewis and George crashed into each other.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Hooray!
Yes.
Also, Max won a championship, but no one cares about that. Anyway, we got Dan
Somebody's
to
gonna
up
get
with
fired.
ostrich, and he ran around and did stuff. Then we put him in a hot air balloon he was flying the hot air balloon that landed the Checo's Red Bull car.
Nice.
So did they because Dan did the race up and down the straight,
Mhm.
and I'm assuming they just put on different tires. They don't change the car or anything, do they?
It wouldn't have been a current F1 car anyway, Matt.
It
It
would
would be one of the older ones. Yeah. It would have been older ones. They probably put them on the ultra hard tire or some older tire that they would have had.
What are they running
They
now?
have, like filming tires.
There's a filming tire that they would use.
Because the one that landed in the hot air balloon was the RB19, and then Checo landed it.
I didn't watch it.
Oh, basically they came down in a hot air balloon. So basically, Checo got to fly in a hot air balloon, and Dan got to actually meet fans. So it's
Okay.
Yeah.
and then
They've got their priorities right in terms of marketing.
Well, like I said, Dan's dressed up in Red Bull gear, and I know like his actual job is to be the third driver for Red Bull, and he just happens to be driving for AlphaTauri. But
He's on loan, remember?
Yeah, but at no point did they also like go, by the way, he's not driving for Red Bull this weekend. We've just dressed him up head to toe in Red Bull gear and he's in a Red Bull car, but he will drive for the white Red Bull team, on the weekend.
Yep.
Unless someone gets a mystery illness. Oh, no, wouldn't that suck?
I don't think that'll happen.
I would love to see a mystery illness and we just have 2 Australians, a New Zealander on the field, and then just magic podium. I don't care what order. If we get all Australia an Anzac podium, Booby, mark my words.
Oh, yeah.
We're all getting burgers. I will Uber burgers to everyone. I don't care where they need. I don't care if I have to send it to Tasmania, Booby.
No, I'll be back in Melbourne by then.
Then, if we see like a wacky thing, also if we do see someone fall with like appendicitis or like,
Yep.
illness,
Okay.
I'll be very surprised.
Fair enough.
When was the last time we had a mystery illness? That was Singapore.
Albon.
Right?
Albon.
And
Monza
got
last
COVID.
year.
Who
Yeah,
missed-
Lewis
who
was
missed out on Singapore?
2020.
Yeah, but didn't Lewis got COVID and George came in?
Yeah, that was in 2020. But that was in the which one was that one?
The second.
That was the second one. Yeah,
Bahrain, wasn't it?
the second Bahrain Grand Prix. Yeah, on the short
then,
circuit.
Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing some.
Mystery illnesses.
Well, here's the thing, Dave. Would you, if you're like Helmut Marko, and again, if you can think like him, you're in trouble. But let's pretend you can. Are you either doing whatever you can to make sure you wrap up you get your 1-2 finish that you so badly want because you never seem to get it? Or are you just going to be like, I'm not even going to help him. Like the pit crew will help, but
I think that's the hard conundrum with this one.
Yeah, exactly.
In that, they probably do want to shuffle him on, but
they still
then
want the
you're
1-2.
also, this is the opportunity to get the 1-2 in the championship because you don't know, next year could be totally different. And
Exactly. You don't
you
know what's
might
going to
have
happen.
McLaren and Mercedes and Ferrari all nipping at your heels. And even if you've got someone that's, 0.2 of a second off max, the others could be right in there.
that might not get you second place.
And that's the issue at the moment with the big gap between like Max and Checo, is that potentially you could have, even if Checo's having an on day next year, you might have 6 cars in between them, which then makes the constructors very difficult. If you've got, and especially if it's constantly like the Mercedes second and third, say, and Checo's back down in 8th or 9th.
Well, when Checo seems to be good, he seems to be very good. Why is it? I still don't understand how he's plummeted. So, because at least like Lewis and George, as much as it is fun to watch them suffer, they're still roughly doing, they're
doing well still.
Yeah, most of the time they finish in the points. Like Alonso, he's still finishing, getting the points. Like he's average. Max is, first or second, and then Checo is first, second. I'm gonna, fight for the championship this year, and then like 5.
And also with
later,
with the constructors as well, if you look at it, like McLaren's only 11 points behind Aston now. So I reckon and if Stroll keeps doing what Stroll does, I don't think they're even going to drop in the constructors to 5th.
That's an even less of a bonus.
Exactly.
Will they get rid of him earlier? Like Rob sent us that photo where Stroll wasn't even in the photo.
Yeah.
Possibly, who knows?
Yeah, that's a difficult
But they don't
one,
even
though.
look like Drogovic. But they don't even look like Drogovic. That's the thing, too.
Yeah, it nearly looked like generic F1 man or something.
Exactly. Something like
where
that. Just a generic
you hadn't
photo.
got the licensing for the video game or something, and it's like, we haven't got the licensing for Alonso. We just put in generic Aston Martin man.
Spanish driver.
Or they change his name. Or they change his name to be Alonso Fernandez or something.
Manuel F1 speedy guy.
Jack Newton.
Jack Newton.
For those who remember, back in '97 when Villeneuve wouldn't sign over the rights, and I
Jack
think
Newton.
his restaurant that he had in Canada was called Newtown. So they called him
Okay.
Jack Newtown in the
Jack Newton. Okay.
in the game.
Well, yeah, it just looked a little suspicious that little man wasn't in
Yeah.
the.
Yeah, but you know, who's using him for promotional material?
Well, that's the thing. I was going to say they don't. Even his dad.
Oh, no. Okay. The game shows a silhouette of the driver's image. Murray Walker refers to him as Williams #1 or the Canadian.
That's what they can do now. When they get rid.
No, but that's what they call. But that's what they were saying. That's the reason why. The game also used voice clips for Jacques Villeneuve that can be found via hacking methods. Yep, that sort of thing. You know the following game.
What was the name in the game?
So, I don't know. They didn't have.
Number
They didn't
one
write what the
Petro.
name was.
Did he win the
it's
championship
coming-
that year?
97. No, it was 96, wasn't it?
No, 97.
97. He was 96.
Damon Hill.
Ah, yes.
Oh,
One and
Boogie.
done.
When we're doing the quiz at the end of the year, I'll remember which questions to ask you. So Dave wins again.
That'd be fine. That's all right. You guys interested in this F1 doco on Disney Plus about Braun?
I'll watch it.
I definitely want to watch it too. I just want to see because at least it's not like a Netflix Drive to Survive. At least it goes back into the history of what they did during that period. Sure, there's been enough
just
stuff.
Is it just the 09 car and like the history of that car and when they won, or is it?
I'm not too sure on the details.
Neither am
But
I. There's
think
not much
it's about
details.
I think it's about the Braun Championship and how
It'd have
was
to
just
be
kind
how
of
they
that
got
one year.
I'll tell you how
the
they
one
won.
and done year.
Jenson Button is the greatest driver to have come down from the heavens and been placed into a car, and then. So I do like it when they mention it because I think people seemed I can't remember who it was, but one of the commentators seemed to have forgotten that he'd won races and he won at Monaco. And they're like, you know, at Monaco it's a tricky track, and Jensen's like, yeah, no, I've done it before. And they're like, what do you mean? And he's like, I used to, you know, and he kind of had to answer it like, I kind of used to drive these. Like this was my thing. Before I walked around the track at Monaco, I used to sit in these machines. I used to, when's that out, Booby? Like later in
November 15 next month. So a month from now.
So what you're saying is we all watch that, and then when we're watching the Vegas Grand Prix, we can discuss it during delays in the race.
Yeah, when they're during a safety car or something.
Safety cars, Booby. There we.
Oh yeah, I got a feeling there'll be multiple. Yeah, basically there's going to be no runoff into a concrete barrier. Basically.
Also, I'm kind of predicting that in Vegas there'll be something wrong with the track.
Of course,
I have a sneaking suspicion that you may get something. Last time America had a racetrack, and the track was, a bit wrong and the tires didn't last. I'm guessing there'll be an issue. I'm just predicting. This is my wild prediction.
We're going to get another Indianapolis.
There will be a racing incident where a tire does not survive.
We're going to have multiple. We're going to have forced pit stops again, like we did last.
I do feel like this whole Vegas thing has. I know they've planned it for ages, but it still just seems very haphazardly put together.
I don't think they realised how much time and effort had to be put in to actually create a racetrack and.
Well, I think they'll get the racetrack
set everything
done.
up for it.
I just feel like something will have been overlooked, and then they'll be driving. They're like, What do you mean we're meant to have runoff or a corner or, a timing
Why?
chip here?
Where, or there's some white lines missing somewhere, some white and red
Or
lines for a curve
basically,
somewhere that's missing.
what do you mean you're not used to these 60,000 flashing lights and a massive orb in the middle of the road? I cannot wait to see that sphere doing whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
I'm hoping it has like what's the thing called in the NASCAR, Dave, where they've got the leaderboard and it's like a ladder and it just has each number?
Yeah.
I want something like that, but I want their faces and I want it to spin around. So I want to see George Russell's entire helmet or whoever's winning. It's just them, and it's George as an
Max.
entire head. Or Max.
That'd be Max.
But like you can see behind his head and his ears and stuff, and it's just his head, and he watches people as they drive around. or it's Alonso, and all he does is he points to where Stroll is, and every time he does something good, he does that meme of
Good turn.
good turn.
Uh,
I'm looking forward to that F1 race more than this
At
one.
least, like I said, at least it's going to be at a decent time for us. 5 p.m. on a Sunday. Watch along. We'll try and do something like we should do a watch along for that.
I
all four of us.
heard, and unless he says something in the next 30 seconds, I heard
Is
we're
that
having
Rob?
a live streaming at Rob's house.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're all going to go to
Yep.
Rob.
It's been decided.
I'll send all your watches, Dave, Rob's private address and phone number so they can call and ring ahead. Anyone that wants to come along, ring ahead. Put in your pizza order early because obviously it's going to take a while to get there. But
I shotgun the couch.
I'm willing to sit on a chair. I don't care.
I'm going to bring out a fold-out chair. And
Actually, I'll bring my thing. I'll bring out my camping chair. I should be fine.
Bring some bean bags.
I'll get some beanbags. We'll get some beanbags. We'll sit around.
Yep. We'll eat pizza.
Are we going to
Sounds
make it? I'm pretty sure. I'm just going to guess, Booby. Wait a minute. Dave and I have not done well in predictions, and you magically have picked everyone perfectly. Even in Tasmania, where they don't even have the internet or F1 knowledge, but for some reason you're going to tell us who wins this week.
I don't know. We'll do predictions.
You're going first,
Yeah.
Bobby, so we can copy you.
I'm going first this time. Okay.
Yeah, you go first.
All right. This week we're at Austin. All right. So
I'm pretty sure Rob picked Joe for second.
I think he picked Joe,
Stroll
Stroll,
and Sargent.
Yep.
and Sargent. And number 10,
Yep.
he picked
Max.
Bottas. So, Booby, who are we going for second?
we're going Norris for second.
Oh,
I am going Sainz for third.
risky maneuver, Booby.
Yes. Piastri fourth.
Oh. And who gets the final point?
I'm going to go Yuki for the final point.
How many times has Yuki finished 10th? It's a few, isn't it, now?
He has finished 10th a couple of times.
Well, he's got 3 points.
And he's
Yep.
got them 3 times, right? So that's 3/10.
Yep.
Potentially.
It's 3/10. Yep. Who wants to go next?
Dave?
Dave?
I'll go Pastry for second. Hamilton
Yep.
for third.
Oh, yeah, there's Mercedes, isn't there?
Yeah. And
Who you going?
Leclerc.
Leclerc, and your 10th place.
A 10th. Let's go Stroll.
What?
Oh, wow. That's a
big
one. All
All
right,
right.
Matt. Who do you...
So second, I don't want to
Yep.
say it, but it hurts me. But I reckon Hamilton.
Okay.
If I say it, it won't happen. So yes, let's go Hamilton. Hamilton definitely
Okay.
in second.
Yeah.
George-
Sorry, Oscar. I put you for second.
George in third.
Yep.
Nando's
You got
in
fourth.
fourth. And then
Yep.
10th
And
place.
who's your?
Let me just find because I keep forgetting some of these people because heaven
What are you going to put
forbid
the forgotten Chinaman?
It's hard to remember all 20.
Yeah. Who do I want? I'm thinking like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna go Esty Bestie. He's done me well before. He's gonna
Ocon.
get.
I went
Yeah.
him 2 weeks in a row, and he didn't get me anything.
That's why when I do a booby, he's gonna get me
Goddamn
a
Ocon.
place. And because I've called George and Lewis to finish 2-3, they are going to plow into each other on corner one again. Toto's going to choke on his pumpernickel and whatever he puts on that bread.
Okay. And for everybody else, Rob's selections are he chose.
Oh, no, I can do it.
Science
Rob's selections were, we already said it. He's going Logan, Magnussen, and Zoe, and then 10th spot, he's picked Lance. And whatever Booby says,
whatever you say. Well, his real ones are Sainz, Perez, and Lando. That's what he's gone.
he never said that.
Perez
He
to
never
finish
would
third.
There's no
Oh,
evidence of this.
it's in the group chat.
And then what did
It's in the
he
group
pick
chat.
for 10th?
Yuki.
This does not sound
He's
like
still going with
anything.
Yuki to try and finish 10th.
Unbelievable.
Do you guys want to know the point situation? Do you guys want to
Well,
know the point situation?
Here we go. Booby's on 57. Booby Verstappen is on 57 and has won the championship this early.
No, I haven't actually. I'm only on 23.
Only on 23.
Rob's on
How many
20.
points?
Rob's
Yeah.
3 points. Rob's 3 points behind me on 20. Dave's on 14. And Matt, you're on 12.
Dave, I would like an official inquiry in why you and I are.
Why we're behind?
Yeah. I mean, Dave, I understand, but I know everything about F1. I should be at
It
least.
can't be because of our bad.
No. I feel like I'm going to do the Lewis defense. Everyone is wrong except for me, and unless you show me hard concrete proof, I'm never.
Well,
to
Matt,
blame.
you've scored 0 points 4 times. This 4 times since we started this tipping competition.
Did I also tip 6 races in a row when I went overseas?
Yes, you did.
I should get.
And you got
special
points in all of them.
Did I?
And you got points in all of them. Yep, you got at least a point in all of those 6 races that you tipped.
I should just tip early.
Just tip for the rest of the season.
Booby, here's what I'm going to do. Season 2024, Max Verstappen.
You're going to tip it.
First.
You know, okay, no, don't worry about that. What we should do, I reckon, we should actually do tip like this one guy in another sport. What they do is they tip everything at the start of the year.
Oh.
So, and then
that
what
could
they
have
do is
been
have
hard if we did it this year because Rob would have tipped Checo to win points, and if he's not racing at the end of the year, that would have been awkward. That his picks got him 0.
That's true too.
And
But yeah,
Dave
what they do is in another.
Dave would have looked like an idiot when he goes halfway through the season. Ricardo's going to come in and drive, and Rob would be like, "What are you talking about, you crazy man? Lay off the fireball. You're drunk."
No, but I think it might be a little bit more stable next year. So if we want, instead of we can still do this sort of tipping, or do we go back, or we do the normal tipping?
By stable, do you mean Max Verstappen will easily, stably win and not have his teammate, win 1 or 2 races? Or I still reckon it'll be much the same.
Possibly, yeah.
All right, Bobby. How
We'll see what happens.
many safety cars are this week?
Ooh, I don't think it's that many. I reckon probably 2.
2? Virtual?
I reckon 2 safety cars.
Do you think we'll see a legitimate safety car?
I reckon we might see 2, 1 virtual and 1 real safety car.
And also, because I can't remember, whose turn is it to be the safety car? Because there's 2, isn't there?
Yep.
There's the Merc and then there's
The Aston Martin.
the Papa Stroll car.
Is it the Aston Martin this week?
I've
Or
no
this
idea.
race?
What?
Is there a way to find out?
I'm asking the Google.
I'm doing the same as well.
Oh, I just have the. How did they get that deal, Dave? How do you? That seems weird that they've allowed a team to share.
I think it was just that they come along with money.
Oh.
And then, yeah, Mercedes was like, oh, we still want to be involved, but yeah, Aston are offering a lot of money to be part of this. And yeah.
What's the that Red Bull concept car called?
The
Valkyrie.
Yeah, why can't that turn up next year?
What is
I don't
the
think you
safety
can
car?
Yeah,
I reckon.
I reckon every team that has a stupid concept car that has appeared that will has or will appear in Gran Turismo should be able to be a safety car. Like at Red Bull Ring, it has to be the Red Bull car. That makes sense. In Italy, you can have a Ferrari, any old car.
There's probably something to do though with the because you've got two people in the car and
You need to have two people in the car.
Yeah.
All the other equipment, the radios, everything, that sort of stuff that they need. All the extra lights they put on top and that as well. So the car needs to be able to support all that as well. So
Then
yeah.
Here's my thought, Booby. McLaren bring back the McLaren F1. That has 3 seats, so that's got room for the driver, a passenger, and then an esky full of sandwiches in case someone gets tired and hungry.
Yep. But don't worry, they're not always in the safety car.
Did we find out what safety car it is this week?
No.
Also, Dave, how many safety cars do you think of this week?
0.
0?
Yeah.
So you're saying that the 3 idiots that are, or let's say 2 idiots, you're saying that the Canadian and the American are going to finish the race with no racing incidents?
No, they'll go out or whatever, but it won't cause a safety car because there's that much runoff and that there.
Now, I think it's pretty obvious.
No, that means it's going to be virtual then. So you're saying it's going to be virtual safety cars, but not a proper safety car.
It could be a virtual, but it's just, yeah. No proper safety car.
It's pretty obvious, but of the 2, why do you think the American will crash first?
But he'll be on a really good lap. You know, if he finishes the lap, it would have been, like he would have got into Q3.
Also,
you're didn't finish the lap.
He's going to crash in qualifying, and then when he does the race, he's also going to double crash.
Well, yeah, why not?
I reckon
also, do we think that he has done his most expensive crash yet, or has he built up for something bigger?
He's saving it for Vegas. It's always bigger in Vegas.
Of course it is.
So he's going to really, really bankrupt Williams by the end of the year.
Of course.
But not in the funny way where it's like written in your contract, we'll give you $10,000 for every point you scored.
Yeah.
It's we will $1 million worth of damage to a car.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's going to put him in a lot of budget troubles for next year.
So with Papa Stroll's team, you were saying that they're getting a bonus. If Stroll keeps damaging the car, do they get to the point where they just have to tell the team, look, you know how we were thinking of even just having a bonus for you guys helping us through the year? Will it get to the point where they're just like, look, my son's a wrong, and I'm aware of this, but he has damaged too many front noses and wings and stuff. You're just getting paid whatever you were paid before. Your trip to Disneyland it's just a dream then.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm also not sure how the bonuses fit with the cost cap.
There must be some allowance in there or something.
As well, because you'd imagine that that would be then very hard to budget that at the start of the year.
Yeah, because you were saying that only 3 of them. So you're saying in like Red Bull, Adrian, Max, and Checo would be exempt.
The drivers aren't part of and then the top 3 other. So drivers and top 3 paid employees.
Yep.
Okay, so the engineers then would still be under the
salary cap. Yeah.
salary cap.
So I'm not sure how the bonuses then work, because then what you could do is say, like, Red Bull could essentially go, oh, well, we pay everyone 20 grand a year, but if we
Max
happen to
was-
score 8 points in the championship, you all get like an $80,000 bonus.
If Max wins a race by more than 30 seconds, everyone gets 100 grand.
Well, you wouldn't even do the bonus system. Like, if it was a blatant thing like that, you would just make it like, once we score a point in the championship, you all get X amount bonus. So then, or else, you know, you don't know if he is going to win a champ, but you're going to score a point during the year. So you'd be fairly confident if you're an employee to sign up to that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like I said, it could get to the point where they're like, look, we're gonna have to pay you a lot less because Lance is he's bankrupt. Him and Logan are together just ruining F1 and costing us a lot of money.
Well, it gives us something to talk about.
Yeah, it does.
That's true.
Like, it would be boring if the whole back of the field was like Joe's,
Exactly.
Well,
because you wouldn't even realize that they're out there.
Yeah, because it'd be weird to see Max win and then wait a minute and then second would come through and then it'd be third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and then 10th. And then it would just be like 8 or so just forgotten people. And you're like, who are these guys? And they're like,
how did they get here? What did they do all day?
Exactly.
Were they in the starting grid? Did they even qualify? Or we just put them into 11th to 20th and it's just a luck of the draw? Did
Sauber sign the Concord agreement? Is that why we don't see them on TV? Like,
are they look guys, just save your time, don't film us.
You
know, if we happen to get lapped by Max, definitely film us, but try to make it look like we're battling for
we're not actually there.
Exactly.
Could you make it look like Max actually overtook us to get to first, and now we've dropped into second? Let's make it look cool, kind of thing. I feel that next year movie will be the same. It will just be film Max for 5 minutes, let him run ahead, and then though, like I said, Vegas could be fun because I think they're going to get distracted by a lot of shining lights. And it will be interesting to see every one of the supposedly all the walkways and the bridges are all getting blocked up. So
but they do that at Melbourne though. So when you cross, like at Melbourne, when you cross over the bridges, like the pedestrian walkways and that, to go from like from the outside of the track to the inside.
Are they permanent though, or is that just for the?
No, they're just for the weekend.
Oh,
but they're all blocked off so that people don't stop, so that it keeps there's no reason, or else you would, if you could see out of those, people would like camp
just
out
stop
there.
Camp
Watch.
You would. The problem is in Vegas, there's a lot of vantage spots, and it's going to be very weird to see a lot of it sealed up. And then I'm assuming they're just going to fill it with like signs of like Max. And
possibly, and
Max
probably
and
Max digital
and licensed teammate.
It'll all be the sponsorship hoarding.
Oh yeah, and it'll be for Vegas.
See Cruises and Heineken and DHL, I think, is still one of the ones.
Is it?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, the F1 partners.
Okay.
Rolex.
Yeah, the Rolex timer. And then there'll be the greatest ever pit walk movie because everyone will be there.
Especially DJ Khaled.
DJ Khaled has already got his seats. He is, I reckon there'll be even more. Do you think either Vegas will tell them, look, if you're coming to this, at least know who Martin is and at least do a tiny bit of research? Because I've noticed now, who was the last celebrity? Who was that celebrity that just didn't want to talk to him, and they basically blasted her because she was like, I'm here.
The
that
model.
was some model. Yeah. But
Oh, that's a
apparently, though, I think she was a guest of Alpine. And
Okay.
she'd been told not to talk to him or something.
Really?
As-
Alpine said that.
Yeah, there was something like that as part of the publicity.
What?
It
Because
was.
it's weird. You have.
I'm not
Steve
sure if that
Carell.
was a tinfoil hat.
I reckon that's more. That sounds
Oh
tinfoil
no,
hatty.
Max.
Yeah.
That was a couple of years ago. They had one this
Yeah.
year. Megan the Stallion one was the one that like cemented him because she's basically going, "Who are you, little man?" And everyone's like, "Oh no, you don't
Yeah.
yell at Martin like that."
Yeah, and I'm like, who the fuck's Megan the Stallion?
But
And I still don't know, other than she's the person who didn't talk to Martin Brundle.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting because, like I said, they've had Steve Carell come on,
Yeah,
and he's come on, and even if you think he didn't know much, he's at least had enough to say. Where it's like, I know that Max drives for Red Bull. You know, Lewis was, he's won a lot. Blah blah blah. I'm happy to see that. I mean, they can't all be Jeremy Clarksons, and try to sponsor the Alpine team.
yeah,
But I feel like if you're going to Vegas, you've got a chance to really show how good your race is. You don't want to have random celebrities like, why are you here? I don't know. My publicist gave me some money. I'm gonna I'm gonna sing in the Sphere, and then I'm gonna come out here and pretend that I know F1, and then ask, where's Schumacher? I'm like, which one? One of them recently got fired. But Ralph will be here. Everyone loves Ralph. Ralph's the favorite one, right?
I'm just picturing Ralph Williams going, I'm a Schumacher.
I can drive.
Okay. I was just checking out some stuff.
It's either going to be an absolute shit show, and they're just going to be random, Vegas celebrities and musicians.
Yeah.
Or they'll have told them, look, if you're coming, please. Here's a little, like, even if they just had a cheat sheet.
It's a cheat sheet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like, that's Max.
Talk to this guy. If you don't
That's
talk to
Lewis.
him, and if this guy comes at you with a microphone, have a chat to him.
Mention Logan because he's the token American.
But I still reckon Jackie Stewart needs to be there again because that
was
man
brilliant.
is a national treasure who does not listen to any safety barriers. Be damned! I'm just going to walk through here.
Do you know who I am?
Yeah, but that was the thing. Like he barged through to go get whoever it was. Federer. That's
Federer,
right. I think Federer knew who it was.
Yeah.
Like Federer, I think understood that that's an F1 guy who wants to talk. You want to go talk. So he's like, I'll come over. But the security guard was like, excuse me, mate, move out of the way.
Yeah.
Which was, again, kind of embarrassing if you worked there. They'd be like, look, just to let you know, here's a bunch of flashcards. If a tiny Scottish man just barges through, does he look like this guy? He basically can walk wherever he wants. And if he doesn't want to walk there, let him know that he can if he wants to. I would have thought that a lot of them would have, and they'd have passes, wouldn't they? They'd have.
Oh yeah, they'd have the. I know, like in supercars or whatever, it's called a hard card, and they have a similar setup with IndyCar, which I'd imagine that the F1 would have, and it's an actual like what you'd have for work or whatever, where you scan in.
Yeah.
Kind of thing where it has your photo on it and you're approved for the whole year.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd imagine the only thing you should have, if you're a celebrity that don't know who you are, you should have a card here, and it should be, I don't know, orange, right, or red that just lets you know this person is an idiot. Don't.
Yeah.
They are purely here because the movie that they are promoting has given you $20 million to be on the side of the wall. They know nothing of F1. They don't even know cars. They've probably never driven a car before. They know they have 4 wheels and a steering wheel. Leave them alone. Yep. But then you get like Jeremy Clarkson, Steve Carell, or Mr. Bean. There's his green. There's like, go up to them. They know what they're talking about. And then the orange ones are like, go up to them, but don't ask them tricky questions. Ask them things.
Ask them the basic ones.
Is your favorite who's your favorite driver? And then when they start, they go,
Is
Max is pretty cool, isn't it? They go, yes,
Yeah.
I know him. Max
is your favorite driver Lewis?
yeah. when on the little card, it should have like a little nationality flag, so you know who's like flown in. If they've got the Union Jack, Lewis is their favorite driver.
Yeah.
If they're Aussie, you just go Dan Ricciardo. It's a safe bet. It might not be him, but it's a. And if they're
Or it could be
American,
Oscar.
if it's American,
Logan.
you ask them, is Dan Ricciardo your favorite? Why is Dan Ricciardo your favorite driver?
That's true.
And if they say it's actually Logan, that's when Martin does that. Quickly cut me off. We're going to
Yeah.
go somewhere else. I spoke to the wrong person. that I'm genuinely looking forward to because I think it will be an
The Vegas, the Vegas.
absolute spectacle.
Oh, of course, it's going to be.
I mean, how many races do we have to wait? Because
We've got
the way I
we've got
see it,
Three more.
3 more because we've got
One, two,
we've got
yeah.
Coda,
yeah. So that'll be an average race, right? Nothing special there.
Coda, and then you got Mexico.
That'll be Checo's retirement drive. That's where he does the lap of honor and
Mhm.
tries not to crash.
Brazil.
Brazil will be Brazil. That'll be a good race, but again, in the term of things,
And then
nothing
it's
special.
Vegas.
Then it's the technical last race of the year because let's be honest, Abu Dhabi's just we had $60 million. Can we be the last race? And they're like, but Vegas, and they're like, all right, $100 million. Hey, look, everybody, it's the final race of the thing. And Vegas is like, but we spent all this money. I'm like, you did spend money. Now lots of money is now more than what you spend.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Basically,
At least next year it's going to be. At least next year the calendar's changing, so you have all the America races, and then you got the last 2 in the Middle East.
Well, it just seems to be, Dave, that's how the F1 works, right? Let's say Booby wanted, to host the last race in Turkey, and he pays $60 million. Then I turn up and I'm like, oh, I have this $80 million that I'd like people to race. And they're like, what's that? $80 million is now how much you need to pay. It sounds like when Andretti's trying to join a team. He's like, you need $50 million to join the team. Here you go. Did I say $50 million? I meant $200 million. $50 million is your
Okay, here's a 200.
So we will listen to you, and then you have to bring us an extra $150 million. And if you bring that, we'll be very surprised, and we'll think of a new bullshit rule. And then even then, we won't really want you to be here. So have they've been given a spot, or are they taking a? I've heard that they've been given a provisional.
The
provisional.
FIA has accepted their entry, but they don't have a contract with Formula One at all.
Yep, that's the one that hasn't gone through yet.
Yeah.
So you're telling me they've gone up to the FIA and gone, here, we've jumped through your hoops. It's not like he's, a random bloke that's like, hey, we all know the Andretti name's good for deli meats, but did you guys know that I also used to do motorsports and F1? In fact, we've done F1 before. I was really good at it to the point where I actually won. They're like, that's really well and good, but we're not really looking for any more drivers right now. We're looking for more racetracks. We're trying to get to 30 by 2030.
Yeah.
We're hoping every week is just an F1 week, and then we're going to do midweek matinees. Just little sprint. We're going to call it Sprint Tuesday, where you just you do 10 laps and then you go home. It just seems like there is a lot of we've already got 10 members in our special club. No Marios. You can have one Mario, but no. We've already got one American.
Yeah.
Yep.
We've got one American. We don't need 2.
Yep.
Because of reasons. And let's be honest, I think the Andretti one's probably a little bit more successful than the
Haas one.
I think Andretti would move the needle a bit in that respect in America.
Well, that's what I thought. Like,
yeah,
the Andretti name is fairly like it's basically
well known.
It's motorsport in America, isn't it?
Basically.
Yeah, and I think they obviously NASCAR fans know Haas and that, but once you move away from the motorsport community, they don't know Haas. Whereas I think Andretti's more a known
Household
name. Yeah, within
Yeah.
America. Yeah, but
That-
I'd
that's-
even say worldwide, like Andretti's probably one of those names that
Well,
the
yeah, 'cause
general
I know-
public knows.
Well,
Yep.
yeah, because I remember hearing it, and it's referenced in rap groups. Even reference him.
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
doing all right. If the three gentlemen from Brooklyn will mention Mario Andretti in a rippity rap
Yeah.
song. I mean,
Yep.
I don't remember Snoop Dogg mentioning the Haas Automation F1 team
Nope.
in any of his songs, or
No,
Tupac
No.
talking very highly of Zach Brown and his McLaren crew.
yeah,
Unless I missed
Yeah.
that album. But yeah, I think that would actually bring in actual Americans.
Yep.
And I
yeah.
think it would be a lot cooler if you had an Andretti at a Vegas. Because didn't he race in the car park?
Yeah,
F1?
probably did.
Mario
Yeah.
probably would have.
Mario, but not Michael.
Yeah,
I'm thinking more Mario.
yeah.
Yeah, Mario definitely would have.
Basically, the Andretti name to me is Mario Andretti, and then he's just got from Dave saying 87 kids and cousins that all just happen to have the Andretti surname, and they just
No,
use
well,
it.
Michael
More
is
like
his
sons.
son. Yeah,
Michael's his son.
and then Marco is Michael's son. But then, yeah, there is a lot of other.
Also creative
Andretti's over the
names
years.
in Americans: Mario, Marco, Matthew, Michael, Mike. And then
Well, see,
Mario.
Mario's actually Italian.
Yeah, but the American naming system is just Junior.
Yeah.
Mario Junior, Mario Junior. He's
Well,
in
at least they didn't do that. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Mario Junior's in F3. We're going to use him in a
Yeah.
couple of years. At
least they gave him a
he's been
different name.
approved by the governing body of F1, but F1 themselves are like, we're not sure.
pretty much.
F1 and
yeah.
the teams. Yeah, F1 and the
Yeah.
teams.
Yeah, I heard that Gunter is one of the big opposing the.
Yeah, well, because then they're not the American team.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, he'd have to go probably down because I'm down like probably constructor points, wouldn't he? 'Cause-
Well, that's the other problem. But see, when you look at how the full distribution and stuff, it's probably not going to mean that much of a difference to the smaller teams if you're divvying the pie up between 10 or 11. Because the smaller teams don't actually there's an A payment or whatever which everyone gets, and then there's the special bonuses for Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, Williams, and Alpine, and then there's the prize money one that Red Bull gets the most this year because they won down to is it AlphaTauri who's last. Where if you're in that bottom five, it probably won't affect you that much. Like you might only be
you won't
talking.
notice the difference.
Well, you're probably only talking, say, 1 or 2 million difference that you end up with overall. Because if you do, even with the A payment, that's at the moment, I think the pot's about 350 million divided by, so they all get 35 million. If it's divided by 11, it ends up being whatever it is, 32 million or something like that. It's not, it's in the grand scheme of things, it's not life changing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've also got in the background where all the team, Williams is complaining the most that, hey, it's not fair that we haven't had an investment for 20 odd years. So we want to be able to spend more money under the salary cap on, longer term stuff like wind tunnel, So they want to, they're actually talking about at the moment, I can't remember, but at the moment you can spend about $25 million or something on a year on long-term project stuff. They want it so that the top few teams can spend less or whatever. The middle teams get a normal amount, and then the bottom four teams get a bigger amount, which is they want to spend, I think it's $10 or $12 million more a year on their long-term project stuff. So on one hand, you're going it's not fucking fair because we're going to lose out $3 to $5 million in the prize money if Andretti comes in,
Mhm.
but we want to go and spend an extra $12 million a year building a new wind tunnel or updating our CFD capabilities or whatever. And you're like, well, are you that concerned about a few $1 million here, or do you want to go and spend more money? No, at some point, yeah. Plus, then you've got the 200 million coming in that will go to the 10 teams, which granted that's only
Exactly.
a one-off payment. But see, if you're only losing a few $1 million each year, that's still, say, 3, 4, 5 years worth of the payments you're not going to get.
Exactly.
I was going to ask Dave, when was the last time there were 11 teams? It wasn't that. It was only what?
You had the
Been a
3
while.
new teams in 2010 come in, so that made it 12.
So it's not like they haven't had more than 10 drivers. Like, it's not like,
No.
we've always had 10 teams. It's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
that way since, the 1950s.
No,
It's
no,
not
they've
like
had
this
more
is
than
new-
that.
This is not
Yeah.
an original idea, right? Like, this is a...
No.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was supposed to go, because there's a provision for 13 teams in the whatever, FIA thing, and there was supposed to be 13 for 2010, and USF1 never materialised,
That was the
so
one,
it
yeah.
was 12, and then we had it drop back, and then you had Haas come in when, I'm trying to think which was the last one, the green one, whatever it was, it called at the end, Caterham.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
When
Oh,
Caterham went to the wall, Haas came in, so it stayed at
Yep.
10.
Oh, yeah, that was the... Yeah. Yeah, okay, because it's not like this is like a brand new thing of having an 11th team.
No. Of
No.
course not.
No, it's just that it hasn't been enacted
It's
for
not
a
like
few years because,
it's not like a sport that Boovy and I follow that have a team where Boovy is right now, and it's like, oh no, we're making a brand new team down there. This is
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
we're fair enough.
It-
It just sounds
It's in
like
it's in the rules. It's in the provisions. They can
Yeah.
have the extra teams.
it sounds like a lot of people are like, oh, we're happy with 10. I don't want to change 10. 10 seems good.
yeah. But in general, like it's very short-sighted for the teams. I can
Exactly.
understand why they're against it, but if you have more, like essentially more teams in there, just
Yep.
makes the spectacle better.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, I think
Yeah,
the problem is you want, because right now, let's be honest, next year, I'm just like, Max wins comfortably. How can I see?
yeah, but it's not even. It's like at the moment, like we're getting excited that you might be kicking out. What's the name? Logan.
Yeah.
At least if you've got another 2 seats in there is a bit more of a chance of a bit of interest there with different drivers coming in and out and things like that. There's a bit more of, and IndyCar for quite a few years they were running around that kind of 20 cars, and now they're up to, like this year they're running, I think it was 27 full-time entries, and no one's complaining like, oh my god, it was so much better when there was only 20 cars on there. Like it's so, like, it just looks better. There's more
When
interest
there's
or
more
whatever.
cars on the track, yeah.
Yeah, and yes, you have some that are a bit slower and whatever, but you're always going to have someone who's last.
Exactly.
So yeah,
You always need a Logan Sargent, is what you're trying to say.
Basically.
yeah.
Yeah.
Look, you had Latifi, and everyone was like, "Yeah, we got rid of Latifi. That's the end of badness forever." And then we get Logan. Yeah,
One Canadian leaves and another American enters. Everyone knows that saying. One Canadian door closes and American door opens.
yeah.
Well, I mean, Bard just through and yells out, "What's a kilometer?" I'm liberating this door. Move out of my way.
Anyway, on that note, I think we call it quits for tonight.
Definitely.
We've done well.
Yep.
So if anyone asks, Rob put in his picks. Dave and I already picked them.
Yep.
We're hosting F1 nights at Rob's house.
Yep.
So everyone get your pizza order in.
Yep,
Mhm.
we'll shoot you the address soon.
Yeah,
Yep, definitely.
We'll just and we'll give people plenty of time to come down because, like, if you've got to come down interstate,
Yeah.
or in Boovy's case on a boat,
Yeah.
sounds good.
All right.
Rob can
See you
buy a
next-
pizza oven.
Enjoy the race on the weekend.
Definitely.
Hey.
See yous.
I'm going to click the button.